for tuning in. I am Ms. Zuri Hertz, rhythm guitarist and vocalist of Last Minute. Each week I'll be featuring a new up-and-coming artist. They'll perform for you, do a quick interview, and fill you in on what's next in their journey. This is their time to shine. And this is 15 Minutes.
Hey, what's up? This is Joe from Merit Maker here. I'm stoked and totally honored to be a part of this new web series. It's a really great opportunity, especially right now at this time of quarantine. Musicians can't really get out and perform as they normally do. I'm going to be playing 2 songs off my debut album, Judgment Calls, the song Start Again and the song Playing the Part. This music is primarily punk rock music. You probably classify it as pop punk, alternative, hardcore, emo, post-punk. Those are some of the main primary genres that would fit. I draw from a very, very wide range of influences. These songs have actually been in the works for a number of years. Over the past decade, many of these riffs have sort of just been reworked and revised to the point that, I got them just how I wanted them. And yeah, I'm really, really happy with how well this album has been received now by so many different people. On SoundCloud, I think I have a total of about 28,000 song plays right now. When I released this album, I honestly wasn't expecting anything like that, so cool, so awesome that so many people around the world have listened to this and really appreciated it. Yeah, enjoy. Rock on. That was Playing the Part from my debut album, Judgment Calls, without the third verse and chorus, which is just a repeat of what you heard right there. So, yeah.
What is Start Again about?
This song, Start Again, I guess is about sort of, new beginnings, starting over fresh. Stuff happens in life, and people go through a lot of different things. And sometimes you just gotta completely start over fresh. Sometimes you can revisit ground with old people and start again. Things don't work out, so you gotta start over. That would be the overarching theme of that song. And it's sort of supposed to be, sort of like a very positive message.
How long have you been playing music?
I've been playing music since I was in grade school. The very first instrument I learned was piano. I was probably 8 or 9 years old. I picked up guitar when I was about 14 or 15. I played drums in my early 20s. For the last 10 years, bass has pretty much been my primary instrument, and then also, of course, singing.
What's your favorite TV show?
I Love Lucy, like the 1950s show. To this day is something that I still enjoy watching. My mom was a fan, when she was a kid, and then she kind of introduced it to us when we were growing up in the 90s, and I was like, this show is so cool, and I still enjoy watching it.
Where do you want to be in a year?
I want to be moving forward with my life, which means continuing to get my music out there to more and more listeners, I want to save up more, travel more, just continuing moving forward and achieving more and more goals, primarily be related right now to my music, more money, and life experiences, whatever they may be.
Which one of your songs is your favorite?
That's a tough one. My favorite song I've written, each song to me is important in its own way. I think Playing the Part, maybe. I think it just has a very sort of catchy rhythm and melody to it. The lyrics are really relatable. I would say that maybe that would be my number one song on there.
What food do you least enjoy?
I don't like eating like vegetables just by themselves. I find that to be like kind of like boring. Like if someone just like was like, here, eat this carrot, that would I guess that would be my least favorite food. Just like raw vegetables. If someone just like, here, eat this stalk of celery, I'd be like, ugh. You know.
Mac or PC?
PC, because I'm much more familiar with it. I know Mac has some really amazing features, but I've never really used one enough to like say I know how to operate it well. I'd have to go with PC because it's like the only thing I know.
What other skills do you have?
So I think I'm a pretty good writer. I recently graduated from Temple University. I feel like I'm good at articulating myself, expressing myself, giving presentations. I love doing that kind of thing. Fitness, I'm really big into like working out, making pizzas. I love making pizza. I guess those would be the main areas.
Do you have any old hobbies?
When I was younger, when I was like a teenager, I used to do a lot of films with friends. I mean, I never took film to the level where I was like really serious about it. It was kind of just something I did for fun. That's a part of my past, not so much my future or something I'm currently doing. Film and acting, yeah. In fact, we have a YouTube channel up with all these like comedy sketches we did back in high school. Some of them are fun to watch now, but some of them are like, oh my god, wow, you know?
Tell me one thing about yourself.
One thing about me is I am a musician that has primarily done studio-related projects. I actually have not gigged all that often. I would like to more, certainly with my project Merit Maker currently, which I've done no live shows to date with. It's been exclusively a studio project.
What's your craziest show experience?
Oh! Okay. Playing a house party. It was literally the first song, and I was playing bass, and literally on the first song, I think it was the fat E string broke. It snapped. These were new strings, and that's pretty rare for a bass string to snap like that. And for it to snap on the very first song, I was like, oh my god. That would definitely be one of those moments I was like, fuck. Luckily, the guy that lived at the house had an extra bass because he was a bass player as well. So he was like, oh yeah, take my bass and you can play with it. So like, thank God he was there. If it hadn't been for him, I probably wouldn't have been able to play that show.
How many members are in the band?
Merit Maker is technically a solo project. It's not all me. For the first album, it was a session drummer and a session guitarist. The same thing for this upcoming album that is currently in the works, which will hopefully be out by sometime, I'm gonna say, like next winter. Essentially what I do is I hire out other musicians to play the parts. I try to work with people so it's not just me being like, okay, play this and play that. Like, no, I want it to be a collaborative effort where the other person feels as though they contributed something of their own to the project. That's what makes collaboration great, right?
When did this project start?
Merit Maker actually technically officially began in 2016. It was after I had left this one band I was in. I started this Merit Maker project, sort of put together an EP, released it, but it was sort of a very, the EP is no longer up. Like, Judgment Calls is really where Merit Maker began, the album released last year, but technically it had begun in 2016.
What would you say to other artists now?
It's the golden opportunity to sit home, write some new material, really focus on streaming, getting your music out there to more and more people. If you're a SoundCloud user, if you have a SoundCloud account, something that has worked very well for me is this service called Repost Exchange. It's a very, very good way to help promote your music and to get you a lot of reposts and to connect you with other like-minded artists in your scene.
How do you go about writing material?
Honestly, I wrote the best riffs of my life, like in my late teens, early 20s. Not that I don't still write cool stuff now, but I feel like some of those riffs were just like the absolute best ones I've ever written. And I've just been reworking them for the past decade, and now I've finally gotten to the point where I'm like, okay, this is how I want them to be, this is how I want them to sound, and yeah, turned out well.
When's your birthday?
March 6th. I just turned 31.
What have you done during quarantine?
working, like non-stop. Just got a job at Whole Foods just prior to this whole pandemic erupting. Majority of my time working, trying to get some sleep, exercise when I can, a little bit of gaming, you know, I am a gamer. Also, the new album is in the works right now.
Any closing words?
For me, at the end of the day, I did this project because I love music.
What's next for Merit Maker?
So as far as the future of Merit Maker goes, there is a new album currently in the works at this time. The follow-up to Judgment Calls has a whole new lineup. We have Zach Seif from the Berklee College of Music on there for guitar. Mikey Horn will be tracking drums. Really stoked to have both of them on board. Bass has already been tracked in full. The songwriting process is currently in the works. I've been listening to some of the parts that Zachy's been writing to these songs, and they sound really absolutely amazing. I'm really excited for this to get back into the studio once the quarantine has been lifted. Plan on getting in there maybe sometime later in the summer, possibly next fall, with an expected release date sometime maybe in the winter or possibly next spring. Yep, it's happening, and sometime within the next year, the follow-up to Judgment Calls will be out. Stay safe and rock on. That was the song Start Again from my debut album, Judgment Calls. Cut a little short because the ending is kind of a long outro that sort of repeats over and over again, but yeah, that's it.
Check out the description for links to Merit Maker's social media. If you liked what you heard, please leave a comment below, like and subscribe for more episodes. I'll be posting a new one every week featuring a new artist every time. If you'd like to be featured on an episode, contact me at 15minutesshow@outlook.com. Remember to stay safe, stay creative. This is your time. This is 15 Minutes.
I'm a star, I'm a player.